topic, but we got to get into the big topic of the show. And that is, of course, Xbox Cloud Gaming getting a massive change in November. Now, this particular story I got from The Verge, and well, with that, it was written by Tom Warren. Now, this was written on October 11th. Now, obviously, this happened on Friday. Here we are, Monday. We're here to talk about it because this is a massive, massive change for cloud gaming. One of the, I think, biggest complaints outside of the cloud gaming itself not being the greatest bit rate and running fantastic every time you've played it, kind of like something like I want to see the service get to something as good as like GeForce Now, where GeForce Now is just phenomenal. And I think they're going to get there. And I think that this announcement is huge simply because, well, there is a big game coming out that is going to be an Xbox Game Pass day and date, and that is Call of Duty Black Ops 6. We already got it. We got confirmation that they literally dropped today that Black Ops 6 is going to be available on cloud gaming the day it releases. That is massive. But according to The Verge's story, and I want to read it verbatim, it says Microsoft is planning to support the streaming of Xbox game libraries next month. Sources familiar with Microsoft plans tell The Verge that the company is getting ready to test the ability to stream games that you own that aren't a part of the existing Xbox Game Pass library. It goes on to say, as part of a long-running project known as Project Lapland inside of Microsoft, the studio giant has been readying its xCloud gaming servers to be able to support streaming thousands of games. And I'm told Microsoft will first test its new Xbox Cloud gaming streaming capabilities with Xbox insiders in November before expanding them to more Xbox users with more games made available. It goes on to say, Fuzzy, the xCloud gaming expansion comes in the same month Microsoft plans to enable game purchases in its Xbox mobile app for Android in the US. Microsoft is able to do this thanks to the court ruling earlier this week that forces Google to stop requiring Google Play billing for apps in the Play Store on November 1st. I mean, look, Fuzzy, this is a monster deal. And again, we have confirmation that the way it's supposed to work, folks, is if you were to purchase a game on this Xbox mobile app, you will be given, well, permission, because now you own the game, to immediately start streaming that game via the cloud. How big of a game changer, pun intended, is this?
Oh, it's huge, especially considering the amount of console games that a lot of people probably have in their library currently. Like the fact to be able to take your games on the go and stream them while you're on the road, whether you're at the hotel, on your phone, or on Wi-Fi at a friend's house, or you brought your Steam Deck somewhere and you're running Game Pass like through the cloud or through the browser and stuff. Anywhere that you decide to stream games that you were using before through Game Pass Ultimate, you now have access to the library that you own. And that's going to be huge in the sense that we know some games either rarely come to Game Pass, like some of the older Activision games, although they will be eventually coming to the service. Rockstar games, it's almost like a fight every so often, seeing some of those. But if you already own things like Red Dead Redemption, or if you already own Grand Theft Auto, you won't have to worry about the next time it comes to Game Pass to stream it. And you don't have to worry about having it loaded natively on a device, because some of those games will take up, gigs, hundreds of gigs of space, especially some of the Call of Duty games. So just having that access to your library, all the games you've bought, let's say from 360 on, or even the original Xbox One or the original Xbox generation all the way to now, just being able to load it up on your phone or load it up on your ROG Ally or something along those lines, and stream it on a Wi-Fi connection or cellular connection on your phone. It's awesome. Like, now it makes having Ultimate that much more of a value, because you have not just the stuff that's in Game Pass and being able to stream that, but stuff you've already purchased, stuff that, like I miss when the Division was in Game Pass. Like that was like probably the best times because there were so many people that would try it out, get in the queue and be able to go on missions with us and stuff like that. Having it now where anybody that owns it can stream it as well, I think this will allow more games that you may not see in Game Pass on a regular basis be able to get a lot more attention. And it's just an awesome thing. And I can't wait for this handheld. Xbox needs to, after this announcement, they need to tell us more about this handheld when it's dropping. So yeah, I'm so excited about this.
That commercial that I talked about, that was 11 seconds with Call of Duty Black Ops. It's 11 seconds, folks. It's not much, Fuzzy. Mm-hmm. But it is a commercial that if you just pause right at the end of it, in the 10-second mark, in the 10-second frame from 10 to 11 seconds, and you see all of the devices that are there, one of the things that jumps off the page for me is the handheld, and it looks to appear to be a ROG Ally, which I have, which a lot of people have. It is a phenomenal little handheld that does a lot of big things. Getting back to your point, this for me, and this is just me speculating, folks. This is me not, breaking any news or anything. This is just my personal opinion, so please take it as such. That integration of the handheld, which again, ROG is a Microsoft partner. They have partnered together. They work together. Tells me, and this is just a feeling I get in my belly, that come the Game Awards, we are going to get the official announcement on what the Xbox handheld looks like. I mean, look, just follow the breadcrumbs from leadership to simple, ads on the socials, or different people talking with other people in the industry, like we were able to talk to about Blade today. There are rumblings that handheld is closer than people want to give it credit for. And I've said this before. If there's one thing you can both applaud and criticize Xbox for, is being ahead of the curve. Sometimes they're ahead of the curve in ways like streaming services for games with Xbox Game Pass. I don't know, something like the Zune, for instance. Mrs. Boom still uses it. One of her favorite devices. It's a great device. They canceled that. Windows Phone is another one. Ahead of the curve. They canceled it. And sometimes they are so ahead of the curve that things just don't work out for them. This is one of those instances that, and again, Hargeet and I had an opportunity to talk with quite a few people during the June event. We got a chance to rub elbows with some serious Xbox people. And again, no names here, because again, this is all private conversation. And we heard a lot of things about what they want to do, what they're working on. And the handheld is literally on everybody's mind. Phil's talked about it. Sarah's talked about it. Every journalist that you trust and know, like Jez Corden and Tom Warren, have talked about it. This thing is happening. It's not about if, it's about when. I really honestly believe, Fuzzy, that this upcoming Game Awards is going to play out something similar to 2019 when we saw the Xbox Series X for the first time. I want to get your thoughts and your theories.
I definitely agree with you on that. There's these two things that they've done recently that really signify that this is the direction that they're headed, and it's probably close. One was about 6 months ago where they had it where you can do multiple Wi-Fi settings that you can save. And it would not really interfere with like your home console and stuff like that. So if you're taking your Series S on the road, and let's say you go to this particular hotel all the time because you do conventions there, or your job takes you in that location quite often, having that secondary, Wi-Fi setting saved makes it so much easier to be able to, plug it in and start gaming. So that kind of signifies that they're looking for portability and have it where it's not going to interfere with the coding or the operating system that they have currently for the console. So that option says that there's a handheld that they probably have in the wild that they're testing, and that was probably a roadblock to some extent where it would keep on reverting back, or it would overwrite the old one, and then you come back home and it's not syncing or something like that. They kind of fixed that before anybody asked, type of deal. So that one, Mav and a few others are like, yeah, that makes sense if it was for a handheld. And then this most recent thing with, and they've talked about it for a while, where they wanted to have it where you can stream your owned games. That's been, something that we've all kind of wanted, or at least have access to our own games through, cloud gaming to some extent. But it's the greatest way to attack your backlog while you're on the road. So that way you can have the games that may not normally install on like a handheld or something like that because of the space that it takes up. You can now clear out that backlog a little bit easier with the games you own by just looking at your library and stuff. I think all of these signs and some of the other moves that they're making it easier, where whether it's through the browser or through a mini version of like the Xbox app on PC, all of these things seem to be pointing towards a handheld or some sort of portable, where whether it's you can put their OS on a ROG Ally in place of what comes standard on that, or overwrite the Steam OS if you wanted to, or do it as a dual boot, which is probably the easiest way to go, or for their future handheld. There's definitely something going on the software side of things and some of the behind the scenes stuff that would make things more convenient for a handheld in the lineup. So I really hope this Game Awards, we get that, like you said, the same, Series X unveiling of a handheld. I already codenamed it, and a lot of people said the same thing. Just call it Xbox Series Go at this point.
That's actually pretty dope. I like that name. Hopefully you get paid for that if they use it.
if they use it, just send me one, comp me one. No,
Absolutely. Let this man review it, damn it.
No, but having that handheld, I think, is going to be that next big step. And they can't really sit on their laurels too long, because, I mean, not that they're going to be in direct competition with the Switch 2, but you don't want the Switch 2 to get all of the oxygen in the room on the handheld space. Because when that thing drops, I mean, everybody and their grandma is going to probably buy one, if not two of them, before the holidays, or it'll probably come out March next year. But whenever they put that thing up for pre-order, the Switch 2 is going to be selling like hotcakes. So why not have something that would be maybe not necessarily considered the more mature or the more grown up portable, but one that would have access to PC games, one that would have access to the console games that you already own, and have that where it's all combined on one device, plays things natively, can also stream if necessary. Yeah, I think that's where Xbox needs to continue moving forward, where they're going to blur the lines between PC and Xbox, and make it easier for those that have libraries on both ends of things to take them wherever they want or play them wherever they want, type of deal.
I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, look, I'll say this, and I've said this before. When I opened up this particular topic, I discussed Xbox sometimes being too ahead of the curve. But I want to back end the conversation with sometimes they drag their heels. This is one of those instances where I just did a search in Gadget, right? I did a search of the best gaming handhelds of 2024. And they have here so many. I'm like, just off the top of just pulling down the article, I've already gotten 6 or 7 of them, like handhelds. And we're in a position right now where if you are a PC gamer, you can easily purchase one of these PC type of handhelds and feel right at home, like Keosante does. Like right now, Keosante currently has my ROG Ally because he's doing things with it that just I didn't have the skill to do. So he did me a favor. I sent it to him. He's going to be shipping it back, and we're going to be golding. And I'm going to literally use it as a docked thing for the TV because I don't have a PC that's strong enough to run any of these games, nor do I want one. I have the money to buy a PC like that. PC gaming is just not my bag. But I mean, as many upswings and upsides there are to ROG or the Steam Deck or the Lenovo or any other, pick your favorite handheld. It's very PC-esque. That's just not my personal bag. Where I kind of hope that they don't continue to drag their heels here, Fuzzy, is because the handheld market is getting incredibly crowded, right? We know all the handheld PC level handhelds that are available currently, and they're all great for one reason or another. Some better than, maybe some people like myself. I like the ROG and its usability better than the Steam Deck because I've owned both. The Steam Deck I sold it privately. I got the ROG. I like the ROG, and I can run through it with no problem. But you mentioned the Switch 2. Now the Switch 2 is not going to be as powerful as the ROG Ally. It's gonna be nice. We're all gonna buy it. I'm getting 3. One for me, one for Mrs. Boom, and one for Tyler. I'm good for 3. But I think that if this thing doesn't come out next year, it's a mistake. If they don't unveil it this year, in my opinion, it's a mistake. Now, I don't have a marketing degree, and maybe I'm off kilter here, but I do think that there's something to be said about getting into something too late. See, they notoriously get into things too early, and they get all the arrows, right? They get all the arrows and the rocks slung at them. This is one of those instances where I hope it doesn't take until 2026 to get a handheld, because I think we're in a position now where if they show it in December, just like they did with the Series X, a year from now, holiday of next year, you got your new handheld. It's Xbox branded. It basically plays and starts up just like your current Xbox underneath your TV, whether that be the S or the X. And then, of course, in 2026, all hands on deck, eyes focused, the new console with all the games. And I think it's a winner chicken dinner at that point. What are your thoughts?
I definitely think they need to release it fairly soon. Like it's just one of those things where the timing couldn't be better at this point. Because the thing that they don't want to do is wait for the Steam Deck 2 or the ROG Ally 2. The ROG X is kind of like the in-between with the bigger battery and a few other tweaks. So
Yes.
It's like kind of like a mid-gen refresh. But you don't want to wait until the ROG Ally 2 and the Steam Deck 2 hit the market. Because if you do, I mean, if you think things are crowded now, but all things considered, the Steam Deck will still be a very useful and functional thing. Same thing with the original ROG Ally. Same thing with the ROG X. Those will all still be out there and probably go for cheaper. So if somebody's looking for a used handheld for something like in the $200 range, or maybe some of the leftover, still new in box ones will be somewhere in that price point range compared to the newer ones coming out at $600, $700, or $800. But if Xbox can position this, let's just call it the Xbox Series Go, somewhere in the $400 and $500 range, maybe an extra 100 if you get like the what do you call it, the
1
the
terabyte
hub,
drive, or
like the basically a plug-in or a hub where you can hook it to your TV and stuff like
nice.
that.
Like a dock.
Yeah, dock. Yeah. So if they price it at that point and release it before the next generation of the PC handhelds, I think that's where they'll make the killing. They're probably not going to make that big of a dent in the Nintendo sales. Nintendo's marching to their own drum, and they're going to kill it either way you look at it. But as far as with the a portable Xbox, I think if they can release it or at least announce it this holiday, have it in hands roughly around the same time or similar time to the Switch 2, but beat out like I said, the Steam Deck 2. I think that's where that would be the perfect storm for them, because they'll have games for 2025 year that we're all looking forward to. Plus, you can now probably take them on the go. Plus, you'll have the stuff that'll be coming in the near future, which will still be able to play on that handheld, even if it's the next gen. It may not be 120 frames or whatever. It'll still they'll have it where it will be still a useful device, much like the Steam Deck is currently, much like the ROG Ally is currently, and Legion Go and all of those other PC handhelds. So yeah, they definitely need to put it in our hands before holiday 2025. Because if it's already out in the wild and then, still on the shelves, or new stock is coming in for the holiday of 2025, then they have another, big push for the holidays. But, something, let's say, between March and June. So that way they're not directly in the line sight of the Switch 2, but they'll definitely beat out a lot of the other PC handhelds that will more than likely start popping up shortly after.